This is the Ticket Water Cooler here on a Friday. You've made it. You've made it to the weekend, or at least you're very close. Maybe you're driving home. Maybe you got a few hours left here in the week. But the weekend is just upon us. So, you know, it doesn't matter what your boss says. Take it easy. You really probably shouldn't even work the rest of the week, even if you do have to stay clocked in. Just listen to the Ticket Water Cooler. We've got a fun show ahead of you here. Lots of college football stuff. We like to keep it in the college football realm as much as we can, unless there's major things going on. We got FanDuel's win projection for Nebraska, so that'll be kind of fun. Jordan Addison to Nebraska. Is it a possibility? Is there anybody saying that? We found one person, so we'll run with it. Also, Casey Thompson left off of On3's top 10 transfer quarterbacks. Well, we'll talk about that a little bit too. Lots of college football storylines and history lessons with Buck. We're up to the year 2001, so we'll get that going here in the latter half of the show. Nate, how are you doing today? Friday, like you like to say.
Friday. I do say Friday. I had a good Friday post today on Twitter. It was the difference between bulk season and cut season, so it's actually a pretty big difference. Pretty cool. Pretty cool to see. I got pretty.
What
big
does that
there.
mean? Are you talking about?
So I do I kind of yo-yo, so I bulk and try and gain as much weight as I can. Trying to gain muscle while you're gaining weight, but it's kind of inevitable you're going to gain fat because I'm eating like 4,000 calories a day. I got up. So this is how crazy it was. When I first got here, I was 198 pounds. Got up to 230 when I was bulking, and now I'm at around 208. So I've dropped 22
you tried
pounds.
to bulk then?
Yeah, so I tried. So I've lost 22 pounds since January 1st.
Nice.
So it's about
all those
4
blueberries,
months.
right?
Hey, it is the blueberry. But I mean, I cut my calories down to 1,800, so it's not very fun the way that I do it. I also eat a lot of canned chicken, so I definitely don't recommend that. But I'm the peak male body, so you take it as you will. Also, I want to make sure everyone knows tomorrow, Kentucky Derby. I like horse 6. I'm not giving you gambling advice because I'm not great at gambling. I'll be the first to tell you.
Yeah, no.
But I know in the state of Nebraska,
might be better than Phil Mickelson, it turns out.
Certainly better than probably Charles Barkley too. But I like horse 6, and I know in Nebraska you can go to these off-track places, like they have them, so you can just go. I think there's one over on Old Cheney or close to Old Cheney.
Yeah, they're gonna turn that into a full-scale casino.
Yeah, it's gonna be the Warhorse Casino.
Yeah,
and I'm
looking forward to that. Yeah,
that'll be awesome. But you can go there. I like horse 6. My dad likes horse 2. Don't bet on horse 2. I mean, you could bet on horse 2, but I don't recommend it.
What's horse 6 name? Does he get a name?
Horse 6 is Messier.
Oh,
I like horse 6, and I like horse 15, White Aberio. He's won 4 of his last 5. Only loss was at Churchill Downs. I have notes on this stuff. I love the Kentucky Derby. Craig says he likes horse 1. He is finished in the money all 5 of his starts. So, Craig, if I'm making a trifecta, I'm probably going to be taking horse 1. I like that advice. That's what we're doing, Craig. Let's run with it.
He misspelled horse, and I don't know if that's autocorrect for another word that he says more often.
Or if it was more intense. All right, Craig. Craig, let's ride with that. We're boxing the trifecta. We're going 1, 6, 15. That's the. All right, I'm putting it down now. So when it wins, I want the credit that I deserve. If you're gambling on the Kentucky Derby, Nathan's Picks, we should make it a website. Nathan's Picks, we can check it the entire season.
Just do it on your Twitter.
I like horse.
You have access to your own website.
That's right. But now I can make my own website. So I like horse 6 to win, and we're gonna box the trifecta 1, 6, 15. 1, 6, 15. That's what we're going with. You heard it here first, Bach. Someone clip the audio.
Have you ever had like a winning month or a winning week or something that you can say, yeah, if you would have listened to me
Actually, yeah, when gambling first became legal in the state of Virginia, I think it was the first week I ended up winning like $400.
Oh,
I did pretty well.
Yeah.
I bet on a lot of random stuff because I kind of celebratory. Obviously, you're going to drink because gambling's legal. I mean, it's just
right.
You go to the bar and you celebrate because the bar, I mean, they have the huge setup of all the TVs and the gambling's at your fingertips. It's the greatest thing in the world. It's like Christmas. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So we just went to the bar and then just gambled a ton, had a few drinks, did pretty well. Lost it all here in the next couple of weeks, but that's okay. We're not going to focus on that. We're focusing on the positives, people. 1, 6, 15. Book it. Book it right now.
Are you going to dress up pretty fancy for the Kentucky Derby? You like to do that?
Well, I'm going to Nebraska softball's senior night, so I'll probably have it on my phone. I'll be that guy. Have you seen the guys in the casino too? They're slapping their butt. They're like, go, that'll be me. In the middle of the softball game. What is this guy doing?
That will be
He's
fun.
got the 1-6-15 trifecta. Give
Is
him a
this
break.
the only horse races you kind of stay up to? Kentucky Derby?
I do the Triple Crown, so I don't even know when they race the entire Triple Crown.
Yeah,
because that's the thing is usually the Kentucky Derby. I use the week of. People will say it. I'll do some research on the horses, and then. Have you ever been to a horse race, Buck? They're a lot of fun.
No, I do want to go. Yeah,
they're really cool. I went to there's a place in Chicago. Help me out, text line 402-464-5685. There's a place in Chicago that's pretty famous for racing horses, and I went with my buddy last summer, but they recently closed it down. So it was one of the last times that they raced there, and I raced there. I won a decent amount of money too. So horse racing's fun. Horse racing is one of the coolest sporting events. If you want to count it a sporting event, I do.
Yeah, it's weird because the athlete's a horse.
Hey, the jockeys have some type of athleticism.
Not anybody can just jump up there and be a jockey, but I mean, you have to be like 100 and talk about losing weight and making weight. Those guys live a pretty tough life. I mean, to try to make weight.
Yeah. Well, all of them normally they're pretty short too. Like,
right.
I think most jockeys are 5'6", 5'7".
You can't have
so pretty
seven,
short.
7-footer jogging. This is gonna hold you.
Thank
back
you.
A
Text line says Arlington. And then Crowbait says we used to have a horse track here in Lincoln. That would be very dangerous if we did. That would be awesome though. Future home of the Chicago Bears that bought it. I also did see that, Justin. I don't know why they're leaving Soldier Field. Supposedly they're going to Arlington Park where they do the race.
The Bears are?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like that. I don't need a Soldier Field.
It's in a pretty nice part of town though. But the Arlington Park is beautiful. It's in a great area. It was a lot of fun. We had a blast. Had some Miller Lights. I'm a big Miller Light guy, Buck. I don't get that. The Busch Light thing, I don't really understand around here.
Yeah.
Once I got here, everyone said, you're going to drink Busch Light and you're going to like it. I drank Busch Light when I was like, I'm not going to say that. I drank Busch Light when I was
you were 21.
When I was responsibly able to drink, I drank Busch Light.
That's correct.
And it was never one of my favorites. We drink Miller Light in Virginia. That's what we do.
Well, that's fair enough. Whatever beer water is your choice of,
exactly.
It doesn't really matter.
It's essentially what it comes down.
Yeah, just chug some beer water,
right.
You'll be good to go.
Right.
Let's get to this too. If you're still on the gambling part of this here, Nebraska is actually favored on FanDuel to have over 7.5 wins. So that's the win total they're throwing out there right now. Favored at 140 to meet that. You've already predicted, so this is not news to you. You've already predicted a 9-3 season. And I'm still stuck at 6-6. So I guess this is basically for our show. This is perfect content to argue on behalf of or against Nebraska getting to 7.5 wins. For what it's worth, they haven't done that in 5 years. So
I wonder what there is. I wonder if that's another thing the text line can help us out with. 402-464-5685. What was their win total last year? I bet it probably was similar.
Yeah.
No, maybe the schedule was tougher. I'd probably say it was 5.5, 6.5.
Yeah, it's probably higher. This is what happens year in and year out. Nebraska fans think, well, this has got to be the year where you take the step up because this guy, that guy, and this guy, and this program can't be down forever. So, yeah, I'm sure it was like 7.5 wins. And even you have to remember last year too, the schedule was daunting, but we didn't know Michigan State was going to be Michigan State or that Minnesota and Purdue. You're going to have 9 wins. I mean,
yeah, that is true. We knew Michigan was going to be pretty good. Ohio State,
right?
Throw them in
Oklahoma for sure.
Oklahoma, obviously.
So it's going to be tough. You have Wisconsin, and Iowa on there.
But that's the thing is, I think for the most part this year, either teams regressed or they stayed about the same. I would say Michigan, I don't see Michigan being a playoff team again. Oklahoma certainly regressed. And yeah, Minnesota's consistently a 9-win team. Are you buying Purdue to win 9 games again? I wouldn't put my money on that. What was do you know their win total?
I don't have the win total. I have the Big Ten West favorites for what that's worth. Wisconsin is leading there at plus 185. They haven't won it in the last 2 years, so we'll see how they get there. Nebraska's second. Plus 250. Kind of surprised there.
Wow.
Purdue third at plus 370. Iowa at plus 550. Minnesota at plus 900. Illinois and Northwestern, you make some good money on them if they ended up winning. You bet them. Illinois plus 3,300 and Northwestern plus 7,500 for the Wildcats.
Holy moly! So Northwestern,
they're not a bad bet, to be honest with you, because Pat Fitzgerald does this.
History, yeah.
Just because Pat Fitzgerald goes 3-9 and then turns around and wins the division, basically when Wisconsin is having an off year and nobody else steps up, which has been happened.
Don't put your money on Northwestern, folks. I mean, maybe if you have $10 that you were just going to throw away anyways, you're going to burn it for fun. I mean, go ahead, sure. In that circumstance, bet on. Do you say 7,500?
Yeah,
or 750?
Yeah, no,
7,500
yeah.
to win the Big Ten West.
Yeah,
That's a great bet.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
$10. I'd sprinkle $10 on
that's
that.
really not too
why
bad.
not?
They're quite an underdog in that role. I don't know. I mean, obviously, you kind of have to wait for the dust to settle on the transfer portal, and haven't
Right.
done a real deep dive on which way I would, look over the crossover games. I know that's why Iowa's a little bit lower. They've got a difficult schedule finally.
Right.
And so, but I mean, Purdue, for what it's worth, they lost David Bell and George Karlaftis. I mean, those are the best players on both sides of the ball. But is it Alex O'Connell? I'm messing up names now. The Purdue quarterback, anyway.
He's projected to be like the second best quarterback in the Big Ten this year.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and he's really solid. So I could see Purdue going away with this thing. Wisconsin is obviously in position. More importantly for us is the 7.5 win total for Nebraska, and the fact that they're predicted second in the West. I don't know if they're taking advantage of Nebraska fans here because they know Nebraska fans will click, and but maybe
I'm joining in on the party.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take my free money, Buck. Free money. 7.5.
That just seems like a lot.
This is
for a team that hasn't gotten to 7.
We can get to these texts here in a second, but this is what I'll say about the 7.5 number. I think that Oklahoma game might decide if you hit that 7.5. If you go into that Oklahoma game 3-0, which it sounds like Northwestern's going to be terrible. I mean, at the end of the day, Vegas knows. Trust me, Vegas knows what they're doing.
Well,
Vegas is not going to throw out a plus 7,500 out there if Northwestern has a good chance of winning. Bach, they're not.
They don't have
Vegas
a good chance.
Exactly. Vegas is not going to lose that kind of money. So Northwestern's supposedly going to be terrible this year. I'll be entirely honest with you guys. I don't keep up with Northwestern football that much, especially last year, because they got absolutely curb stomped by Nebraska and were terrible. So I'll take them to win against Northwestern. 2 out of conference games against whatever you want to consider them, and then you go into Oklahoma. If you're play Oklahoma and you're 4-0, they will be over 7.5. They will find a way to win 4 more games after that. That means that they have to win half of their games after Oklahoma. Yeah.
So you're giving them the Oklahoma loss here?
No, I'm saying if that's what's gonna. I think that might be what decides it. If you beat Oklahoma and are 4-0, that means that you have to go 500 the rest of the way out. They'll hit over 7.5. If you lose against Oklahoma, you're making it a little bit more difficult on yourself.
Well, Wet Blanket's already done his research here. He says Michigan and Oklahoma both far superior, 0-2 there. Nebraska beats North Dakota and South and Georgia Southern. Nebraska has lost a combined 14 straight versus Iowa and Wisconsin. Go ahead and check those up as losses. This leaves 6 toss-up games. Frost is 5-20 in 1-score games. This adds up to about 3.5 and 8.5. If transfer hits 5 and 7, if not 3 and 9, I'm going with 4 and 8. I think more transfers will hit than don't.
That was a lot of
none
math.
of them will fix a bet. Yeah, I mean,
he's Wet Blanket some credit for
put
that.
some math behind it. At this point, you really can't predict. I mean, you can, but you've looked like a fool if you have lately. Iowa and Wisconsin as wins. The Michigan. We don't know. Maybe Michigan does turn out to be like a 6-6 team, and you can beat them or something.
They very well could.
Anything can happen. But you wouldn't favor them preseason. So a lot of people are looking at that. As much as you like to give the 3 wins at the top of the schedule, a lot of people are giving away.
They're not
going to
lose to Northwestern, Bach. I'm tired of hearing about this. Rico said the same damn thing earlier today. It's not going to happen. Trust me, I'm not selling my soul on that because there's a very good chance that Nebraska
loses to Northwestern.
No,
exactly.
No, but this is what I'm saying. If you had to put money on the game, you would put money on Nebraska.
Yeah, but I would have done that with the Illinois game last year.
And probably rightfully so.
Yeah.
It was a terrible game, but that was the right bet to make. You did what you had to do.
Well, that's fine that Northwestern's the right bet to make this year. Doesn't mean they're going to win it. I can't bring myself to say that Nebraska is going to go into Ireland and lose against Northwestern. I cannot have those words coming out of my mouth. There's just no way. There's no way. The game, literally, they beat Northwestern so badly. Northwestern, I'm surprised, didn't forfeit. It was ugly. It was ugly. And Nebraska had 3 wins. It will be a blowout. But again, if you're fair, even if it is, like I said, you give them those 3 wins.
Yes,
to begin the year.
They're going to be 3-0 going to that.
You give them the 3 losses at the end of the year, so that puts you at basically 500, and the season comes down to Indiana. Indiana at
terrible.
Rutgers.
who's
Indiana's
terrible.
not terrible.
Who's terrible.
They have a higher ranked quarterback in the
Who's
transfer
terrible.
portal, according to On3, than Casey Thompson.
Congratulations, and you lost Michael Penix, who actually is pretty good. Didn't he?
Was good 2 years
Washington?
ago. Not good last
Yeah,
year.
I'm pretty sure he went to Washington.
At Rutgers, at Purdue, against Illinois, against Minnesota.
I'm sticking with 9.
Even if you go 3-2 there, you're getting a 6.
I'm sticking with 9. They're going to go into Oklahoma and they're going to be 4-0. I'm telling you. They're going to be 4-0, and then you have to go 500 football from there on out.
Well, you
to get
can't
to that
just
over
hand them
7.5.
the Oklahoma win.
I'm not handing them the Oklahoma win, but I think Venables. I'm not a huge fan of Venables, and
Based
I'm not
on what?
because he's a defensive guy in the Big 12. That doesn't make any sense to me. Trust me, he's a great coach.
He's like the best defensive coordinator of the last decade, maybe 2 decades.
And I'm with you on that, and I completely agree with that. But when you're playing the Big 12, I don't think that's going to have as much of an impact as they think.
Okay, well, I'm really interested in what their
opposed to giving up
offense is gonna look
45
like.
points a game, you give up 35. What is that going to do for you?
Well, I mean, it might be the one like school that actually takes defense seriously. Now, there's been a few schools over the past years that have put up some decent defense. That's part of the reason why Iowa State was able to rise up the way that they were. So it can certainly impact what they have, and they should be recruiting better than anybody. Again, it's a transitionary year for Oklahoma, so it does kind of leave it open there.
Dylan Gabriel coming off an injury.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions there for the Sooners, but they'll still.
And it's in Lincoln.
Yeah,
that plays a factor.
It does. I'm
It'll
not
be
saying
a prime
they can't.
time game.
I'm not saying they can't beat them or anything. I'm just saying it's not going to be. They're not going to be favored, obviously, in that game.
I don't agree with that. I do not agree with that at all.
That's right. You think they'll be favored.
I think Nebraska.
If Nebraska and Oklahoma are undefeated, you think they'll be favored into that game?
Absolutely. Well, who's Oklahoma's starting schedule? Kent State and who?
UTEP or something.
Get out of here. Okay,
Yeah.
that means absolutely nothing to me. Just like Nebraska having Northwestern on their schedule, I think plays in their favor because you have a legitimate wake me up game to start the season. Northwestern should be a cakewalk, and I've said that, but it is still a Big Ten matchup. It has serious implications for your season, especially in the Big Ten West. You have to, whether you like it or not, you have to show up for that
I like
game.
how much you were trashing this Northwestern game until
No, but it's still an in-conference game. By all means, they should run Northwestern out of the stadium. But it's still a Big West game. It's still a game you have to wake up for. It has serious implications for your season, and I think that's going to play in Nebraska's favor. Oklahoma is going to come in playing absolutely no one. No one. Off a year where you are rebuilding. That's scary. That is a scary spot to be.
I don't know how much better Nebraska is in position after playing Northwestern. Maybe a little bit, but it's not significant.
Something. It's a big game. It's week 0. It's going to be in prime time. You're playing overseas. It's a big game.
I don't know what time it's going to be. It might be in prime time in Ireland. I wonder if we have to wake up at like 6 in the morning or something. Who knows what that's
I don't know. We'd
be.
have to ask Jake Sorensen. He'd probably know. I want to make sure we get to everyone's text. 402-464-5685. That's the Starter Heyman text line if you want to text us and jump in. Tiny Pig says, those Miller Lights won't help cutting season much, but will work wonders for bulking. Tiny Pig, I know that's the truth. 6.5 was the total last year, says Jesse. I probably would have hammered the over 6.5 and would have gotten burned. So hopefully Nebraska doesn't do that to me again. Texter says, I remember Omar Manning was our savior 2 years ago. Well,
great story, by the way. I know that's not really going along with him, but if you check out, he kind of getting over his mental health deal and now he's using that to help others is very cool.
Could have a breakout year this year.
Good.
He's in a position to.
I tend to think that he's I guess, but I don't necessarily see him as the savior on that wide receiver unit. I don't know who's
Trey Palmer
going to be the leader. Trey Palmer might be, but he's like the 5th best LSU wide receiver last year. That's the other thing about him. Yeah, he had a 5-star.
It's LSU,
right? They were not a good LSU team
last year, and they're basically wide receiver U at this point. So I'm going to give Trey Palmer the benefit of the doubt. Whether you beat them last year or not, fact is it's easier. Your chances of winning are better, says Aiden. Aiden, that's what I've been saying this entire time. You swap Ohio State and Michigan State, 2 teams that were ranked the entire season, for Indiana, who was arguably the worst team in the Power 5 last season, and Rutgers, who historically, I guess over the past decade or so, is terrible. So I'd much rather take my chances with those teams. I'm with you on that one. They ain't played no one, Bach. I'm pretty sure he's talking about Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Ben, you are right. Oklahoma is not playing anyone. I like Nebraska's chances going to that Oklahoma game. I think they're going to be favored. I think Vegas is going to take them that one. It might be an even line. I'll give you even. It'll be a pick'em.
It'll
be a pick'em, and it'll be a pick'em, and you'd be foolish not to take Nebraska. Just to be fair, everything you were saying about Northwestern is what we all thought about Illinois last year, says Kelsey. Look, the Illinois game's in the rearview mirror. I forgot about it.
You've apparently forgotten about the Frost whole tenure here. And just give him a slide on the way to 9-3. I don't know where this is coming from.
No. The schedule plays into it, and I think starting out 3-0 will be big for this team. When you start against Illinois and you lost in week 0,
right? Yeah,
it sets a precedent for the season. It
does. That's why everybody's worried about that,
and that's why everyone should be worried about the Northwestern game. But let's calm it down. Let's reel it back in. I think that's going to be a win. We're going to be fine. Wet Blanket says in 2021, Nebraska 3-9, Casey Thompson 5-7, Trey Palmer 6-7, O'Shawn Mathis 5-7. Put them together 9-3. How does that work? Wet Blanket, this isn't a statistic class.
Do Mark Whipple.
yeah. Throw Mark Whipple in there. Beach Bowl.
He's the savior of this whole mathematics.
Craig, that is true. Throw him into the FPI. Hey, we haven't talked about my plug for the FPI. I have to do it every single segment. The FPI knows. Nebraska won in the Big Ten West. Second best chance to win the conference. The FPI knows. Craig says Huskers play no one also and lose. Northwestern win. Craig, I don't even know why I just read that right now. Texter, we can change Texter's name. And then Ben says, I'll never forget the evening after the Illinois game last year. I witnessed someone pay full price for a Scott Frost jersey. That's funny. How many times has Scott Frost won 3 games in a row so far? I don't know. He hasn't.
I believe that's 0.
Has he? When they won, what was it, the year before when they won 5 games, he didn't win 3 in a row?
I don't think he's ever won 3 in a row. I'd have to go back. And
you guys are killing me over here. Where are my Kool-Aid people? Start texting and help me out here, guys. I'm trying my best. I'm sticking with the FPI.
The problem is people don't want Kool-Aid anymore. They want results. We've had Kool-Aid. We've drinking enough Kool-Aid. Now we all look foolish. What's in the Kool-Aid we've been drinking? and now people just want to see it proven on the field. And again, when I predict 6-6, that's progress. I'm sorry. It's not what you want to hear. It may be not even enough to save Frost's job, but that's betting on Nebraska when I pick them to go 500. When you pick them to win 9 games, you're just chugging Kool-Aid. That's all it is.
Maybe I threw a little bit of rum in my Kool-Aid, and I'm not apologizing for it either. Eric says Nate is like Will Ferrell from Anchorman. Put it on the text line. He'll read it. That is true. But that is the one thing I will say, Eric. I love the people. I love that you guys text us 402-464-5685. There are a few times that we have to edit the text a little bit as well.
Or just ignore some of them. If you yell cuss words at us or call us something, then we'll only read it like 75% of the time.
Yeah, we'll sometimes read it. Ryan says, let's go. Ryan, see, that's what I like to hear. Wet Blanket says, I hate the schedule argument. Please tell me about Frost's best win. I can give you a list of bad losses. Has to turn around eventually, and if it doesn't, he's gone. Look, and I'm with you guys on this one. It has to eventually, and if it doesn't, then I understand. This is the make it or break it year. We're all on the same page here. I get Frost. His record here is not great. His record against teams that are important to Nebraska fans, Iowa, Wisconsin, record's not great. It has to turn around eventually, and if it doesn't, we start from scratch. We do. If we had to start from scratch, so be it. So be it.
Go ahead and read Crowbait's text.
What is going on? I can't say that, Crowbait.
Yeah, I don't think that's what he was. Again, I don't think that what he was trying to say. I think we've had a few autocorrects for what you guys are normally typing in. It was like, oh yeah, that's probably what he means. And you guys don't double check it. We're getting some weird text on the text line.
Guys, make sure you're not. You're texting 93.7 the ticket. Just keep that in mind when you put the contact in your phone. Eric says, "Damn you, Buck." I like that.
Well, I like it too because I try to sometimes I try to get it going, but when we start to get into 9 and 10 win category, I feel like I'm not being.
But you're not even taking a
truthful.
You know what? Take a side. I refuse for you to keep 6-6. You have to take 7 and 5 or 5 and 7. 6 and 6 is too neutral. I don't like that.
Said the same thing last year when I predicted 6 and 6. The caveat is: would you expect more a meltdown or a surprise season? Basically 3 and 9, the meltdown, or a surprise season 9 and 3. What you're in camp of? Meltdown. absolutely. That's what I would bet on. If it's either a breakout season or a meltdown season, it's a meltdown. I say 6-6 so I can feel like there's a reason to be hopeful. and because there is, I mean, there's definitely a path with this schedule.
There is a path.
But it's just that there's been paths before and they haven't been taken too well. To that credit, again, I know the joke about being close, and I'm the guy that's saying close last year doesn't equate to anything this year, and it's true. But there is something to be said about the fact that they could play a Michigan State and an Ohio State and a Michigan and Oklahoma and all those teams and play with them on a weekly basis. That's one thing that you don't have to worry about, as opposed to the Bo Pelini era, like we love to go back to and now reminisce on the 9 wins there.
You're right.
Is that you'd go into those games and know that it's going to be a blowout and a national meltdown and just, an embarrassment. Now, I feel like when I look at the schedule, when you say they could beat Oklahoma, if this was the Bo Pelini era, I'd say, no, that's not going to happen. There's no way. Now that Scott Frost has proven he can play with them, any of these games on the schedule they could win. They just didn't. They just didn't. I've never seen a team get in their own way when they could have won so many games last year. And I don't know if that necessarily is magically lifted because you change a couple offensive coaches and get Adrian Martinez out of town. I think there's a potential that it might be the guy at the top. That's all I'm saying.
And I think so too. And I think the texter brought that up too. Nolan wants you to say, can you go through your 6 wins?
Yeah, I can pull up the schedule, I suppose. I think Northwestern, you'd have to side with a win. North Dakota, Georgia Southern. Like I said, I'm not going to give them the final 3 games at Michigan, Wisconsin, and Iowa. So what do I need? 2 out of 3 here with Rutgers.
Are you taking Oklahoma? Are you taking Nebraska over Oklahoma?
No, I'm not taking Nebraska over Oklahoma.
So I'm assuming you give them Indiana.
Don't assume that.
What are we doing here? So you're literally saying 3 wins. The first they start out 3-0 and lose out.
A 3-win team from last year winning 3 this year? That'd be unbelievable. Of course,
I'm saying no, but that. You start out 3-0 and then you lose out. Is that really what you're telling me?
That's not what I'm telling you. I'm saying I wouldn't just Nebraska can't roll their helmet out on the field and beat Indiana. They can't do that on the road in Piscataway either. If you want 6 wins, I've got to kind of piece it together with maybe Rutgers or Indiana, and then maybe Illinois, perhaps Minnesota. I don't feel great about that one. You know what I mean?
No, I don't feel great about Minnesota either. I'm with you on that one.
So your final 4 games is Minnesota, which you don't feel great about, at Michigan, Wisconsin, and at Iowa. Again, it's the easy open to the schedule, which is how schedules were supposed to be built to begin with. And Frost would like it a little bit easier.
Will help. I think that will help because again, the Illinois game that you lost week 0. It sets the standard for the season. When you lose that game, it sets the standard for the season. That's why Husker fans are panicking. Because if you lose that Northwestern game, I don't even know what to expect. I really I don't know what's going to happen. Like it could be really bad. It could be really bad. Yeah. Because that literally sets the standard for the season. And I'm worried that if they do that, Scott Frost, his days might be numbered. If you lose that week 0 against Northwestern. It could get bad.
Yeah, it could get really bad. They're putting a lot into that. And we'll see. I mean, again, that happened with Clay Helton last year. It's weird for me if you're that close to firing your coach, maybe you shouldn't bring him into the next year. But we kind of know the situation at Nebraska. They might be saving some money even if they lose that Northwestern game. So that's at least the case. We'll take a quick break when we come back. College football storylines right now. Bijan Robertson gets an NIL deal with a Lambo dealership. That sounds pretty cool. Zay Flowers, the BC wide receiver, turning down $1 million in a NIL to enter the transfer portal to stay in place. Well, we'll get to some of those stories and more coming up next here on the Ticket Water Cooler at 93.7 The Ticket.
If you have concerns about your drinking water, just call Bryant. If your water doesn't look right, smell right, or taste right, Bryant can help. If your water has high levels of iron, Bryant can help. If you're tired of foggy dishes and dingy clothes, Bryant can help. Whatever your home water needs are, Bryant is here with a solution to fit your needs. Be sure about your water. Just call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
My son Aiden has asthma. Secondhand smoke has triggered his asthma so badly, he ended up in the emergency room and spent multiple nights in intensive care. Now he's on a whole bunch of medications. My tip to you is don't be shy about telling people not to smoke around your kids.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
This is Dan Friedman. Between 2010 and 2019, distracted driving caused more than 40,000 car crashes in Nebraska, resulting in over 14,000 severe injuries and deaths. Please keep your eyes on the road. If you have a smartphone, put it away while you're behind the wheel. It will help keep our community safe and secure. This message is brought to you by Friedman Law Offices, helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at friedmanlaw.com today.
Hi, this is Dave Osted from Osted's Golf. Let us make this your best season yet. Voted a top 100 fitter by Golf Digest, our master fitters have been trained by the same guys that build clubs for PGA pros like Rory, Tiger, DJ, and Jordan. Have old clubs? Trade them in Osted's Value Guide, or have our club specialists get your clubs swinging like new. Go to our website and make your fitting appointment. You're a click away from a better golf game. Play better, have fun, and shop Osted's.
Please enjoy these next few moments of relaxation from Scott and Greg at Mendoza Family Insurance. If you would like to feel this relaxed about your home, auto, business, life, or commercial property insurance, please give Scott or Greg a call today at Mendoza Family Insurance.
Hey, it's Nelson. We all know life gets a little hectic. You're just looking for that right amount of balance for stress relief with your busy lifestyle while trying to not break the bank. That's why you gotta stop by the newest Caterpillar Vapes location right here in Lincoln, 2601 North 11th Street. The Caterpillar team is made up of people just like you, wanting the best product at the best price. They can walk you through the largest selection in town, answer any questions, and find you that perfect balance. First-time customers get 50% off their entire purchase. Stop in and see for yourself. For more, find them on Facebook or online at CaterpillarVapes.com.
Work, laundry, dishes. I was exhausted. I needed a vacation, but finding a way to pay for it, not so easy. Then I found it, a research study at Solarion. I searched the studies and found a perfect match for me. It was so easy. I earned cash for the study and booked that vacation. Plus, I made an impact on medical research. Find a study and sign up today at helpresearch.com.
You should consider the risks of the research before you agree to participate.
Back to the Ticket Water Cooler. Brought to you by Culligan of Lincoln on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on a Friday on the Ticket Water Cooler for you, as we like to keep our Ticket Water Cooler nice and college football-y. So we're going to continue that here with some college football storylines before we get to history lessons with Bach, where we can all relive 2001, probably the last great Husker team. Still the last couple games there, but in any case, that was still a great team. College football storylines, so we want to jump through lots of interesting stuff going down in the world of NIL. How about Bijan Robinson, Texas running back, gets an NIL deal. There's a lot of cool NIL deals out there. How about this with a Lambo dealership?
So
how do you like that for a college running back?
Does he get a free Lambo?
I think you'll get a free Lambo out of it, or at least I don't know what the lowest end car they have at a Lambo dealership, but they'll get something.
Probably pretty nice. Let me ask you this then: if you could only have an NIL deal with one company, what would it be? Because that means that you get a bunch of free stuff.
Yeah.
Dollar Tree would
Pick
be
a
at the top of
high-end-
my list.
No, you got to pick a high-end brand so that you're guaranteed to get something very nice.
Yeah, I guess. Would it be? Is there like a rental company?
I was gonna say like a real estate company.
Yeah, give me a house.
Set me up with a house.
No, a car would be cool.
Yeah.
I'd probably do Chevy. Get a Silverado.
Is that your dream car? A Chevy Silverado?
No, it is.
Yeah.
I really want to try.
I like to keep
I always
it.
wanted to
Yeah,
try.
I like to keep it in the realm. I'm not a huge car guy.
I'm not either.
So
That's why I'm a simple man.
I did. My dream car was like attainable.
A Buick.
I really liked the Chrysler 300s, and then eventually got one. It
Oh,
was
look
awesome.
at you! You got
Yeah.
your dream car.
Yeah, but I mean,
Good
it's
for
a
you,
dream
Bob.
car, but it's like a affordable dream.
No, okay, so that's what I'll say. My affordable dream car, probably a Silverado. Unrealistic, maybe like a Bugatti.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be sick.
Yeah, maybe that's what you can sign with.
A Rolex. No, I do Rolex.
Oh, you do just Rolex?
I do
You like to
Rolex.
look
I'm a
the
big
bling
watch.
on the wrist?
I'm a big watch guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because it seems like maybe because in college you would take a different approach, right? Like maybe dressing up and all nice would be very nice for me. Like,
Oh, in
am I gonna
college,
impress my wife.
in college, it'd be like Burnett's or like Busch
Yeah.
Light.
Well, you can't
give me
can't
free
do,
alcohol.
Yeah, you can't do alcohol. That's part of the restrictions that are they're very few, but that's part of the NIL restrictions that are in place. How about this? Michigan State. A lot of people talk about the great year that Michigan had. Remember, Michigan State beat Michigan,
They did.
and on their Peach Bowl rings, they included the score for the victory over Michigan, which was the highlight of their season. But do you find that odd? Do you find it a little bit too much that keeps you in little brother territory if you're still going to like just do everything you can to celebrate the Michigan victory? Or do you think, I mean, that was one of the best running games we've seen in a long time. Kenneth Walker had like 4 or 5 touchdowns, over 200 yards. That was the highlight of Michigan State's season, not the Peach Bowl victory without Kenny Pickett, without, that was just kind of an
Kenneth Walker,
exhibition
I
game.
don't
Yeah,
think
Kenneth
played in
Walker
that
didn't
either.
play.
I don't know. I understand why they did it. That's the highlight of your season if you're Michigan State. Unless
Yeah.
you make the playoff, obviously, which I think they've only done once.
Yeah,
So,
they didn't score.
I guess I
but
get
they
it
did
just
win.
because of how bowl games are now, but you know how I feel about that, Bach. I hate how bowl games mean nothing now. Sure, the Pinstripe Bowl, okay, you sit out for that, sure, I understand. But like the Peach Bowl, come on, man. It's cool to play in the Peach Bowl.
It's cool to
And like
play
the
the
Rose
Peach
Bowl.
Bowl.
I mean, no one
Yeah.
takes the Rose Bowl seriously, the Sugar
No.
Bowl, no one cares.
Well, if you're
now.
not playing for a title, that's why they need to add. I think
They
I
need some type of
I thought about
incentive.
this. You almost need like an NIT tournament, which I don't know if that'd be enough to get those players to play, but at least like have some stakes on the line for these bowl games.
Look, all the money that they're giving these kids now, just say you win this game, everyone gets $50K or
Yeah,
something.
NIL money might
Yeah,
go a long way
give
in
'em
getting some of
something.
it, but those kids that are sitting out are usually sitting out because they're waiting to make bigger money in the draft than you would in NIL.
Yeah,
anyway.
no, you're right.
It'd be tough to come up with enough numbers there. Let's go with this. Boston College wide receiver Zay Flowers said he's turned down a $600,000 deal
Love it.
from one school and a $300,000 deal from another.
Love it.
As far as entering the transfer portal, so they were there. It's it's not like Addison's the only one that's
Love it.
getting tempted, tampering going on. He wouldn't say the schools that are tampering, but he does feel pretty good about where Boston College is. They've got a good quarterback, offensive lineman, both guys, top 2 round type of guys next year. And he could be one of the best wide receivers in the nation, sticking with his coach, sticking in Boston College. And it's kind of interesting, so the whole idea that maybe, free agency would take place and everybody's hitting the transfer portal. There are a few kids that would
Love it.
want to stay loyal.
Love it. That's going to be a rarity in college football now. That and the seniors that play all 4 years with one school, going to be really, really rare. Appreciate
Yeah.
it while you can. Love it.
And we talk about a bunch of bad news. We always want to bring up the good news too. Mississippi State quarterback Will Rogers is partnering with Make-A-Wish for NIL
that's
in a
awesome.
different way, like he likes to say. A couple of the Michigan
awesome.
players have done some positive NIL things as well. So, that's always kind of cool to see. Also, Atlanta, it looks like it's going to replace Las Vegas as host for the 2025 College Football National Title game. I don't know about you, but I'd rather go to Vegas. I think that's kind of cooler. big event.
Vegas is dangerous, but yes, I'd much rather go to Vegas. Have you been to Atlanta? Atlanta's
I have
nice.
not been. I do want to
Atlanta's
go
nice.
to Atlanta.
They got the varsity. They got a great aquarium.
It feels like it just sits right outside of like this is huge game feel. Certainly for like SEC championship games like that, it's perfect in Atlanta. They've got the huge new stadium. It's beautiful. But I don't know, Vegas. I mean, when you compete with Vegas, there's like, there's just like 3 or 4 cities that like can compete with Vegas as far as like big game field.
And they put the Final Four in Indianapolis.
Yeah, the Final Four is really weird. It bounces around.
In Minneapolis too, New Orleans last year. They put it in some places like that. So I guess it's maybe the college thing. I don't know. Because that's also kind of dangerous to put a bunch of 19 and 20-year-olds in Vegas.
Yeah.
I guess maybe
I
that's
did go
their
to
thought
Vegas
process.
when I was under 21.
How was that?
It was less fun than when I was 21,
was
obviously. Yeah.
You didn't get in any trouble, Buck?
No.
You were a rule follower, weren't you?
I'm pretty much a rule follower, yeah.
Okay.
Try to stay out of trouble. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. You know that more than anything. We'll take a quick break here on the Ticket Water Cooler. When we come back, we'll revisit 2001. It's History Lessons with Bach. What a great time it was. We'll go back. Coming up next here on the Ticket Water Cooler.
Jake Bachman here, and I want to tell you about my friends at Solarion. A lot of people don't understand what Solarion is all about or have some preconceived notions about it. But I've participated in their studies for many years and keep going back for many reasons. First off, the staff always treats me well, makes me well aware of what I'm doing, and they're really knowledgeable and informative. That always gives me the comfort to keep going back. Some people do studies as often as they can, while others just look for ones that fit into their schedule. Last year, more than 1,700 people completed the screening process for a study. Whether you're male or female and at least 19 years of age, you're eligible. If you're curious about how to earn up to $500 per day by participating in a research study at Solarion, check them out at helpresearch.com/new or call them at 866-213-2965. Once again, that's Solarion at 866-213-2965 or at helpresearch.com/new.
These days, there are more reasons than ever to treat yourself to a great haircut at Great Clips with the online check-in app. So tell us, why do you check in?
I check in because I'm tired of hat hair. I check in because we all need a cut.
I check in so I can feel like me.
And I check in so I look good for you.
No matter why you check in, you'll check out with a great haircut and save time with our online check-in app. Great Clips. It's going to be great.
Husker fans, continue to support the Nebraska softball team during Fan Appreciation Weekend this Friday through Sunday. The team hosts Indiana in a 3-game series with giveaways each day. On Friday, the first 500 fans receive a water bottle. Come out Saturday and be one of the first 500 fans to receive a blanket. And on Sunday, if you're one of the first 500 fans, you'll get yourself a pint glass. For more information on the game, visit Huskers.com. Get your single game tickets now at Huskers.com or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Areas of fog this morning, then just mainly cloudy for the majority of our Friday. We'll top out at 66. South winds at around 10 to 15. Could see some patchy fog again tonight, a low down to around 50. Eventually clearing tomorrow and a nice jump in temps. We'll top out at 74. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet. O Street Carpet. 1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Naloxone is a drug used to safely reverse an opioid overdose and is now more readily available in Nebraska. I'm Dr. Rob Rhodes, a Nebraska family practice physician. I encourage you to learn how to respond to an opioid overdose and administer naloxone to potentially save a life by getting the free Opie Rescue app for your phone. Be Opie ready. Download Opie Rescue.
Paid for by the CDC. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com. .93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 330 North 48th Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is searching for mechanics of all skill levels to grow with us. Landmark offers a competitive wage, full benefits package, along with paid time off within just 60 days of employment, as well as a 401k and a boot and clothing allowance. Interested in becoming a part of the Landmark difference? Apply now at landmarkimp.com/careers or contact Dana 402-310-7561 or email careers@landmarkimp.com. That's landmarkimp.com. Landmark Implement is the equal opportunity employer.
Back to the Ticket Water Cooler. Brought to you by Culligan of Lincoln on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is the Ticket Water Cooler here on 93.7 The Ticket, wrapping things up with history lessons with Bach as
I'm
going back to the
excited
year
about
2001.
Bach, I got a beer ready for history class. This is how I did history class in college.
Get the beer going.
What is beer going?
Nick's in here with us. You like? How old were you in 2001?
What month? Because I was born February of 2021 or 2001.
Oh, okay, 2001. Well, you were there for the Husker season then, for the most part.
Thanks. I was there.
But let's get the 2001 mood in place here as we try to find a throwback that we can play. I don't know if it'll work, but we're hoping for it. Oh, there it goes. Oh my goodness. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
All right. Very cool. This is our 2001 feel here.
Nice. This is awesome.
Nice little instrumental to play here. All right. Well, we come off of the 2000 year. And into Eric Crouch's senior season, 2001, Nebraska would add a guy named Thunder Collins in the offseason. So, as you can imagine, the name alone gets you pretty excited. But Darren Dietrich was the real running back for Nebraska, at I-back, I should say. Nebraska would come into the season ranked 4th and take on TCU and Gary Patterson's first year as head coach there. Dennis Franchione and LaDainian Tomlinson were actually on the 2000 TCU team, which finished in the top 25. Franchione left for Alabama, where he'd only stayed for 2 years before leaving the Alabama job for the Texas A&M job, if you can imagine at one time that happening. In any case, Nebraska would beat the Horned Frogs 21-7. The Huskers took care of Troy State at that time. Troy State, not Troy. Setting up for game day in Lincoln, college game day matchup with Carlisle Holiday and the number 17 Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Unlike the previous season where Notre Dame took Nebraska to overtime, Nebraska blew out the Fighting Irish in this game 27-10. Nebraska's next game was postponed due to the September 11th attacks, but Nebraska did play Rice on a memorable Thursday matchup in the first college football game post the attacks. So that was all, this was kind of the old backdrop of the 2001 season, but very memorable moments from that Rice game and certainly the tunnel walk there. Nebraska then had no problem with its first 4 Big 12 opponents, though Eric Crouch did have a great in-zone to in-zone run against Missouri, which partially probably helped set him up for the Heisman, setting up a number 2 defending champs Oklahoma against number 3 Nebraska. Thanks in part to a black 41 flash reverse play, the Huskers defeated the Sooners in Lincoln 20-10, which was probably another one of Eric Crouch's, probably the moment for Eric Crouch to win the Heisman that year. But that would all lead up to the day that Nebraska football would change forever. The final day, Black Friday in 2001, Nebraska lost to number 14 Colorado 62-36. This was way before Nebraska had been given up any number like that. So that was quite the surprise. Still, everyone in front of Nebraska would lose, actually. Here's what happened after Nebraska lost. They dropped to like 8th. They needed a bunch of dominoes to fall in order to get to the BCS National Championship game. They needed Oklahoma to lose before the season's end. They lost to Oklahoma State the next day, 16-13. They needed Florida to lose. Well, they lost to Tennessee, 34-32 the next week. And then Tennessee looked like they were going to be number 2. Well, they lost to LSU 31-20 in the SEC title game. That set up Texas to have the inside track to go as the number 2 team, but they lost to Colorado 39-37 in the Colorado title game. So by this point, the BCS computers didn't know what to do. Ended up picking Nebraska over 1-loss Oregon and 2-loss, but red-hot Colorado, who just eliminated Nebraska and Texas from contention, or thought that they eliminated Nebraska from contention. In any case, Nebraska, despite the fact that Crouch would go on to win the Heisman, would lose the BCS championship game 37-14 against one of the best teams of all time in that 2001 Miami team. They'd finished 11-2 and ranked number 8. So it was a pretty good year there. For what it's worth, Eric Crouch beat out Rex Grossman, who was very close in Heisman voting. Rex Grossman could have been your Heisman winner. But Eric Crouch did beat him out, along with Kenny Dorsey, Joey Harrington, and David Carr, all quarterback top 5 in Heisman voting that year. Other interesting stuff to go on that year. Florida State did not win the ACC championship for the first time since joining the conference in 1991. That's how dominant they were during the 90s. They lost out to Ralph Region in Maryland. And then Steve Spurrier, obviously, also, it was his last year at Florida. He went off to become the coach of the Washington Redskins at the time, accepting what was then the largest salary for an NFL head coach. But 2001, the last great year, I'd say, for Nebraska, and that 62-36 loss to Colorado. Things have just never been the same since then. Nebraska football. I'll always go back to that day. That's when things turned.
Really?
Yeah.
What year were you born, Nate?
1998.
No.
So I would have been alive.
Yeah.
I would have been cheering on the Huskers.
I was kicking.
somewhere.
Do you guys like the listening back to the old history lessons?
I do, because this is an actual educational opportunity for me, because I know the basics of Nebraska's history, but seasons like 2001, kind of lost in history, honestly.
I don't know if it gets, and you guys are obviously very entertained and interested in college football stuff, but I don't know how much like the younger kids are interested in running through each of, one of those stories of Nebraska being good. For what it's worth, we're not just doing the good years. We're going all the way up until Nebraska. So like, this is where the point takes a turn. Like I said, that Colorado game, things will never be the same after this.
Wow.
It's going to be brutal when you get to 2017.
Yeah.
And you talk about the blowout loss to Ohio State and the blowout loss to Iowa, where fans are leaving Memorial Stadium with 5 minutes left in the first
Talking
half.
about Mike Riley's last year. Yeah.
That was rough.
That was rough. Nick, were you ever a believer in Mike Riley? Was that something that you could get on board with?
So I didn't like the hire. I remember when I was told that they hired Mike Riley. I think I was in 7th grade. I was in 7th grade when they hired Mike Riley, and I was like, who?
Yeah.
Because you had never heard of him. And there were some popular names. I can't remember. Do you remember any of the other names that were circling around the job?
The biggest one was Jim Tressel. That was the hope position.
Jim Tressel.
That would have been a good hire.
That's right. Yeah, Jim Tressel. That's right. So,
I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah, there was like even
he went to Youngstown.
The
though,
day,
next
as
year.
the AD.
Yeah,
but the day he was, the day Riley was announced, basically there was some small report. I don't know what it was, but there was some like, okay, this Tressel thing might be legit.
That would have been nice.
And they're like, no, never mind, it's not. And Tom Stevens, who actually will be joining me at 5:00. Strick's got an hour today, and then Tom Stevens and Mike Melby are going to promote a new show that they're going to have on Sundays. But the best part of 93.7 The Ticket's coverage that day was Tom just losing it, because he found out on air that Mike Riley was the guy. Most people did have to look up Mike Riley, but Tom Stevens knew who he was. Because looking over, he stayed up for enough Pac-12 After Dark, and to know that he didn't have to look him up. He knew on the spot. That's not it.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought Kevin Sumlin was also a name.
Am
I completely off on that?
No, you could be right.
Was that after Texas A&M? That was before his time at Arizona.
I don't know. Maybe you wouldn't. That's not a great. That's not too great. I don't know how much more excited you'd be about it.
I don't know. Texas A&M Kevin Sumlin wasn't as
Texas
bad.
A&M Kevin Sumlin wouldn't be too bad.
Arizona Kevin Sumlin bad.
Honestly, it's kind of crazy to look back, because he says half people in the state had to Google Mike Riley.
Yeah, bad.
This was before Twitter, so there wasn't any rumors.
This was
or
not
rumblings.
before Twitter.
Yeah, it was 2015.
Like before Twitter was what it is now.
Well,
in
it's 2015. Elon Musk is involved.
Dude. Twitter was up and running and fine.
Yes, it was up and running. Twitter was not nearly what it is today. Not even close.
I'd say like 2000.
So you'd say that if you went on Twitter in 2015, there were rumblings.
2011, 2012, Twitter really. 20.
I am not
early
buying that.
2010s.
It was big
Sick.
Facebook. Yeah, it was big Facebook at the time.
Big Facebook. Yeah, Facebook used to be till the parents found out about Facebook.
I didn't have a Twitter until 2017.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I was 2016.
Yeah,
I got one once I went to college, but my
I got one
professor
because
made
of
me
Mike
get one
Riley.
in like 2011.
Check out one because of Mike Riley.
That'll wrap it up for the Ticket Water Cooler. Yeah, hooray! Coming up next is On the Block with Strickenbach.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and